Good afternoon and welcome to stage number 5. Just sorting out my microphones out and everything. It's all a bit messy. 2 microphones to hold on to. Stage number 5 is live. Lukanuk is already into the stage and on his way towards us. 19.95 kilometres and a winning stage time this morning of 11 minutes 42.5 seconds was the quickest time through here. So yeah, we're back on Facebook Live. We've had a few dramas obviously with Chris Rawls at the end of stage number 4 on the shorter stage of the loop. Only just over 10Ks that was, but Tibor Erdi Jr. going off in there, Miklos going off on also Orhan of Joglu stopping in that stage, so 3 cars missing. Since we've done stage 4, I came around to stage 5, Yanis Pascardi drove past me on the road section. It was a rear suspension damage for him and they repaired that car in the stage and he drove back down to the service park, so hopefully he'll be back out tomorrow. Andrea Nuchita, he stopped only 3Ks outside of the service park this morning. They've changed the spark plugs on that car and the car is now running fine and okay. They said it was an electrical problem, electrical misfire. It's kind of roughly a little bit kind of similar situation and symptoms, but the car stopped. It is now being fixed. If I go through the list of the marker of doom, lots of crosses on my paperwork of people missing. Tibor Erdi Jr., he ran wide into a ditch and basically near enough removed the front left wheel. He went through the ditch and then pushed all the suspension back and into the front wheel. That was in stage number 4. And next up was Yanis Pascardi. That was in this stage we talked about. He broke the suspension on the rear. Nicky Meyer-Menahov, he stopped in stage number 3. Gearbox issues is what we were hearing for the Ford Fiesta in that car. Hopefully they'll get that car recovered and back on the road section and down into the service park and repaired properly. Andrea Nuchita with spark plugs, as we said. Miklos Kosmos and Orhan Joglu, they were stopped in stage number 4. We know for a fact that Miklos was off the road because we saw that just as Chris Rawls was wrapping up at the end of stage number 4. We saw him we saw Chris, but also we saw on the inserted picture was the Peugeot 208 in the ditch. Which was a bit disappointing for him because he was leading the R3 category, ERC3 category. 3 stages to go this afternoon, a repeat of the morning's loop. Weather-wise, I was waiting at the end of stage number 3 while stage 4 was going on and there was a few drops of rain, not a lot. But when I look around me and Chris just pans up a little bit, I'm not sure whether we might get a little bit of rain before the end of the day. I'm kind of hoping that it happens during stage 6 if it does, because then Chris gets wet and I don't, or we don't get wet, because we've got to go from here, stage number 5, down to stage number 7 to round the day. But 3 stages still to go. Tyre choice could be a bit of a tricky one, because if you look behind us, the Zero car is arriving. We might get a word, tell you what we will, get a word with Zoltan Besenia, the co-driver of this Zero car. The road now is dry underneath us, but I suspect it's only slight sections of this road is dry, because I reckon a lot of it will be very, very dirty on the cuts. So I think it's going to be difficult there. As I think Zoltan's got his foot stuck on the horn. There's a button on the footrest of the horn. But we'll go round and we'll get a quick word. I have to say, I do love the sign. Zoltan is our ERC3 champion 2 years in a row. And we're going to get a quick word at him. Zoltan, we're live on Facebook. Can you give us an insight to that stage for the second time, please?
As you imagine, the second time is much worse than the previous one. The previous one was shit, but I'm sorry about that. But this one is completely crazy. From corner to corner, if you have not at least 100 meters, you are on gravel, on mud. It's crazy. Okay, it's not a tarmac rally anymore, but we like that very much.
And how are you getting on as a co-driver sitting in the passenger seat?
We discussed with Janos. This is his first rally, you know. And like he is a good driver, I'm a good co-driver. Or he is not good driver, I'm not good co-driver. So we are on the same level at the moment, I think. We'll see.
Okay, Zoltan, that's great. You can actually see Zoltan's wheelchair in the back of the car. Where there's a second spare wheel, there is a wheelchair for Zoltan because he was paralysed in a testing accident in 2015, I think it was. Won ERC3 in 2012, 2013, and then had a testing accident but back in a rally car, but albeit in the co-driver's seat. But great character and TV presenter in Hungary as well, so for motorsports and car programs. So Zoltan having a good run. Right, let's just check the leaderboard as we were coming into there. The next car we should get should be Alexei Lukyanuk. So let's just run down. I've got loads of screen grabs just in case we lost phone service. But Alexei Lukyanuk leads the rally from Frenez Vins. Then it is Chris Ingram. Ingram in the right place there, or he's doing enough, let's say, to win the championship come tomorrow night if he's to remain on the podium. That's all he needs to do. Well, that's what I've been led to believe. Hope I'm right when I say that. Then it is Philip Maris, but Maris is only 1.2 seconds away from Ingram. Remember that massive fight they had back in Barham? 0.3 of a second decided the championship for ERC1 Juniors, which went in the favour of Maris. Maris taking one of his prize drives this weekend. He will take the other one in the first round of the 2020 championship in the Azores. Callum Devine on his first run in the European Rally Championship in an R5 car. He is currently in 5th, only 15 seconds away from 4th, so only 17 seconds or so away from a podium place. Then it's Turan, followed by Herzig. Herzig had a puncture in this stage this morning, remember, along with Sean Johnson, who had a puncture. So Herzig making his way up the order, had a drop down to 8th. He only dropped one place, but down to 8th. He won here last year. Habai, our other championship contender, the second place driver in the championship. You all know about what happened yesterday morning in free practice 1, where he went off the road and damaged the car. The SRT mechanics worked tirelessly to get that car fixed. Less than 10 minutes, a couple of minutes before he was due to leave the service to go over the start ramp, the car was fixed, and it's ran like clockwork since. So SRT need a big pat on the back for that. Sean Johnson currently in 11th, having had, I think, 2 punctures now this morning. In ERC2, as I flick it up, it's Matthias Nagy who is leading in the Mitsubishi Evo, followed by Darius Polonsky. Polonsky had a puncture in the first stage this morning, dropping 3 or 4 minutes with that issue. So that is why it's quite spread out. And Uchita, we've already mentioned, he stopped earlier on. ERC3, there was 6 of them going into stage number 4. There is now only 4 of them. And it's Eric Size and Jindřiška Zarkova who are leading. Now, they had a gearbox change this morning and dropped 20 seconds. They were 2 minutes late out of service. So it's 10 seconds per minute that they are late out of service. So they dropped 2 minutes, 20 seconds lateness, but they are back into the lead now because Miklos went off in stage number 4. Their lead is 20 seconds over Marianne Griebel, followed by Ekaterina Stratieva and then Nabila Tejpar. Just wait, I didn't screen grab this after all of the girls had come through, but Ekaterina Stratieva and Nabila Tejpar battling it out for the ladies' trophy at the end of 2019. 15.1 seconds Ekaterina Stratieva's advantage is coming into the afternoon loop. Tyres, we were talking about tyre choice just before Zoltan turned up, and it's going to be a tricky one, to be fair. Do you take a racing tyre, which is predominantly a slick with some just small grooves in it, or do you take the really treaded tyre, the intermediate or the wet tyre? Now this morning everyone kind of ran either intermediates or full wets, apart from 2 cars, and they were the Toksport Peugeot 208s of Orhan Ojoglu and Marian Griebel. They don't have available to them any wet tyres. Now, Orhan went off, or Orhan didn't finish that stage 4. I don't know whether he went off, he didn't finish. But if you look down here, down this piece of road, it is predominantly dry, but it's a bit messy as well. So it's going to be interesting to see what they take. We've just heard Zoltan telling us that from one corner to the next, it is just mud and gravel and stuff like that. So you could maybe gain something if you came out on a racing tyre or an intermediate rather than a wet. But then the further down the order you go, you probably do need that wet, even if the road's dry. But if the road's dry and you're on a wet tyre, you need to watch for the overheating of the tyre, because then it'll just start to kind of chunk up on the edges and just fall away, and it'll just become a bit useless. And then if it does rain later on, which, as we've already touched on, it might do, then your wet tyre is completely redundant. Again, looking at what we've seen, there's some gravel sections in here. Looking at what we've seen, punctures are something that are going to have to be taken into account. And the softer the tyre you go, so if you go for a wet, the sidewall is very, very soft. So any little sharp stones just slice the tyre wall, tyre goes down. So that is not where it's going to be particularly easy. Just looking at the time on the clock here, we've are 11 minutes in to the stage, as long as it started on time. So not long, hopefully not long, before Alexei Lukanuk comes through with Alexei Arnotov. Remember, they are leading out front. They won in Poland. They need to win, and they need a little bit of help from others to put Ingram further down the order, to give them a chance, because they are third in the championship. They're quite a way behind. And Lukanuk, he's had a whole host of self-induced dramas, mechanical issues, whatever you want to call it. But Lukanuk, the winner in the championship last year, this year, he's on the back foot coming into it. Ingram just needs to be on that podium, just needs to keep himself out of trouble to become the first Brit in over 50 years to win the European Rally Championship. It's going to be an interesting fight. Ingram's got himself into a nice place, but Mares is not far behind him. And as we touched on there, Callum Devine not a long way behind either. So it is going to be interesting to see what goes on between those two. As we just look back down the road, it's a nice temperature. It's like 12 degrees, so it shouldn't be too bad. Hopefully our helicopter and everything is up, giving us lots of information. So we'll just check. No more news coming through, which is great. So that is means no drama at the moment. I believe we've got 2-minute gaps later for this afternoon. As I said, stage 5, 6 and 7 is happening this afternoon. We are live here on Facebook for stage 5. Our rally radio coverage will continue during stages 6 and 7. I thought I heard a car. Everyone seems to be getting into action. Hopefully we'll have a car soon. We'll have one of the Citroens arriving from Santalok of the two Alexis, as I just move out of the way so Chris can get a clean shot of a rally car, because that's really what you're watching for, is the rally cars. We'll have a little bit of a look at what tyres they're on as well as they appear. The board is ready. Nothing is going on it yet. Just finishing on just as you enter a village here. A little village, got a church just to the right of the stop line as Lukanuk appears. Puncture on the back for Lukanuk. That's another problem. That is a disaster for Alexei Lukanuk in here. And Lukanuk, that's not what he needed. Going to get the door open. Whoops. Alexei, whoa. It's going to be quite interesting to get in here. See what's going on. Alexei, I can see what's happened. Where did it happen and how?
It's a long puncture, definitely. We were staying on the road, doing it clean and carefully. Not good.
Okay, not good at all. I was trying to see what tyres he's actually on. Oops, sorry. He's on an intermediate. So, he's on what I'd call an intermediate. It's not a full wet. So, just try and get all the audio back and running. So the first bit of drama, stage time, 12:24. This morning was a 42, 11:42, so 40 odd seconds potentially lost for Alexei Lukanuk and Alexei Arnotov. I'm just keeping out of the way because Ingram shouldn't be too far away, pure and simply because he's there's been a drama for Lukanuk. Now, I'm just going to try and send some photographs over to our social media team. Where is Ingram? Get ready for Ingram and Ross Whittock to appear at the end of the stage. Everything looks all right on the side of the car that I can see. Everything's all right on the other side as well. And Ingram's on a mixture of tyres. Ingram on a mixture of tyres. So we've got an intermediate tyre on here. Then on the front, he's got a racing tyre. So we've got a cross pattern. I'm just going to run round quickly while you get yourself sorted. What has he got? He's got a cross pattern. Let's just get in here. Chris, just noticing as you rocked up, is a cross pattern. Well, not a cross pattern, but a mix of pattern on the tyres.
Yeah, we went for slicks on the front. Bit of a brave choice. I thought it'd be a bit drier, but I don't think we lost too much time. I drove it the best I possibly could through the muddy sections, so it's okay. Long way to go.
Just looking in the back, you got a pair of wets in there. You got a right mixed bag.
Yeah, we didn't know what to expect, so we just went for everything. Two of each choice.
You have. Did you think it was better to go across the axles with the tyres or cross them? You haven't tried that obviously yet.
I'm not sure. I think when the stage is, well, hopefully the next stage, the end's going to be dry, where you can have a massive push there.
Okay, Alexi had a puncture, just so you know.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so he's got a mixture. He's got a bit of everything in this car. In the boot, he's got a pair of wets in the boot, 2 wets in the boot, 2 slicks on the front, 2 intermediates on the back. So he's gone across the axles, not diagonally, but it's a mixed pattern. He's got 3 sets of 2 in that car. That's quite. I said someone wouldn't be really sure what we'd take on tyres. Chris Ingram's not sure, so he's brought a pair of each of the 3 options that he's basically got. So fair play to him. A time of 12:03.8, quickest through. We'd expect that because of the looking at puncture. I just need to get my stone just to shock the car. I'm going to keep out of the way of the camera. I was just next up. Can't remember who should be next. Philip Mares should be next. Everything looks okay there. Just trying to see what Philip Mares has gone tyre-wise. Mares is on intermediates on this side for sure. I'm going to check the other side because now it could be. It's intermediates. In the back, I think it's intermediates as well. Look at the dirt in the door handle. Ugh. So, yeah, it's intermediates in the back as well. We'll get a quick word. Philip just looking around the car for the tyres and everything. Happy with the choice?
Yeah, in my opinion it was a good choice, but for sure we will see on the next stages. Yeah, but this stage was quite okay for us. Definitely much more slippery than the first pass. But okay, we are here and that's the most important.
That is the most important. Not really fighting for anything as such here this weekend, because obviously he's not in that main championship category. He's already won the ERC1 junior category that was his main priority. But Philip Mares, a 12:14.3. A 12:14.3 is his time. So Ingram inspired indecision on his tyre choice. I don't know what to take. I'll take 2 of each of my 3 options at the minute. That is exactly what he wants. I'm going to just check. He was a little bit away from the lead, but let's just check what that has done now that the first 3 in that championship fight have come through. Let's just get some results up on our monitors and see what is going on. So Ingram now only 21 seconds away from Alexei Lukanek, and the Lukanek has had a puncture, so he's down on a spare tyre. So we'll get ourselves sorted just a bit further down. 12:14. Who should be next to the end of the stage? Next should be Norbert Herzig at the end of the stage. Remember, in here this morning he had a puncture, so let's hope. It was a front left for him and for Sean Johnson. Let's hope that doesn't happen again in here. But we have seen a left rear puncture already for Alexei Lukanek. But Ingram, wow, what a choice. Slicks on the front. On the back is an intermediate tyre. In the boot, 2 wets. So he's got a little bit of everything in there. Doesn't matter what the weather does, Chris Ingram is covered. Everyone else, from what I've seen, has got intermediates, even in the boot or on the car. So it'll be interesting to see what goes on. Herzig, we didn't talk to Maris for massively long, but I'd have expected Herzig to be here so far. But let's just see when he arrives. Multiple champion in Hungary. Norbert Herzig, done the whole season in the European Rally Championship. Had a couple of little issues along the way, but on the whole, his second year has been a lot stronger than his first year, which is what you would expect, because obviously that experience of being to those events for a second time. And when we come to one event for the first time, Norbert Herzig is a multiple champion in Hungary, so he knows all about the roads and the conditions of what to expect here. But this is now getting a little bit of a long gap. Let's just check the phone. Can hear that as if the helicopter's hovering somewhere, as if there was somebody stopped, but I can't even see that. I can just thought I could hear the helicopter. It's as if it's not moving, the helicopter, as if it's hovering over somebody in the stage. Waiting for a little bit of news, but Norbert Herzig, looking at my start list, it should be Norbert Herzig. If it's a Skoda car 10 of Vinez, then it is a missing Norbert Herzig. But let's just wait and see. But we are now into what I would call a bit of a problematic time for Norbert Herzig, because he hasn't appeared. Unless there was a delay at the stage start, which obviously could happen. But if everything was running every 2 minutes, Herzig is definitely missing right at this moment. And he just made his way back into the top 10, having had that puncture first thing this morning, which is not what he needed. So he hoped for a strong result here on home turf, but it's been far from that. A couple of little issues along the way. To be fair, out of the blocks pretty quickly was Vinez. He was really quick. He was equal with Lukanook last night. Then he actually led the rally after this stage this morning. But then Lukanook was an inspired stage time in stage number 2. And it's over this side. It's a front right puncture this time for Hersig. That doesn't sound very good at all. So I just get a word with Norby there. So Hersig, that's 2 punctures in a row as Hungarian Ready Radio just tries to get in. We'll see what he's got to say. Norby, I can see what happened. How did it happen?
I don't understand this situation. Absolutely not. We got a 2 puncture the front. The first was the front right after the start about 5-6 kilometer, and after the left before the start 5 kilometer. I don't understand. I feel sorry. We try push go on.
Okay, he's got to go and change that tyre. He's on the intermediate tyre as well this for the afternoon. But a front puncture 14:33.8 is the stage time. Try and fire those photographs off to our social media team at the same time as well, whilst we are on air, trying to do everything. Do we want them outside of the tent? Is that better if we have them here? Okay, that's better if we have them here. Right, I'm going to just check some other messages, see what else is coming in. So, okay. Right, okay. So, waiting for the next car to turn up at the end of the stage. Now, this should be car number 10. This should be the Skoda of Vinez. Now, I'd have thought 14:33. I mean, he dropped 2 minutes. Hersig dropped 2 minutes. So, where's Vinez? Vinez should have been right behind him. So, is there another drama about to unfold in front of us? We're missing a car. We are missing a car because this is Sean Johnson. Car 10 is missing. Sean Johnson is in at the end of the stage. Alex Kihurani is here. And Sean this afternoon on this side, at least, as I just open the door for the cameraman, go whizzing around. Sean Johnson is on intermediates as I look at the car. We'll get a quick word with him. Obviously, Sean, in here this morning, you had a puncture. What was it like second time?
Oh, it was awesome. So much fun. Much more enjoyable without the puncture and the tire exploding at 150k on the back straight there. No, yeah, it was great. Wow, some places really cut up, full mud everywhere. But yeah, no, we enjoyed that one for sure. I'm loving it. So.
That's good. We've got to get out because Vinez is in behind us. I'm trying to see if he's maybe got a clean wheel on there somewhere and maybe changed the tyre. I'm not sure why he is delayed, or if maybe he was late out of service. I'm not sure. I'll have a look in the back of the car through the window, see if I can see anything. I don't know whether that's a soft tyre in the back, but let's just try and find out.
Nagyon sokat kaptunk emiatt, több mint 2 percet, úgyhogy elúszott a verseny. Megyünk óvatosan ezután.
Everything okay?
Stop the stage, puncture, front left and change.
Okay, so it was a clean wheel. Kind of gives it away, a clean wheel compared to the dirty wheel of... So Vinez stopped to change, so that's three punctures in the stage. Lukanook, Hersig, Vinez, and you look at the time, 15:18.5. That's with a stopping and changing. Hersig didn't stop to change, and he did a 14:33. That tells me quicker to not stop and change the tyre. Hersig losing 45 seconds less in the stage by not stopping to change it. Lukanook drove on his must have been quite near the end. He drove on his and was as fast as he could go. Lukanook still, when I look through it, is third quickest, despite having a rear left puncture on that car. So all sorts of news and drama going on. What was interesting is Vinez only had, well, he didn't have a spare left now. He only had one tyre in the back. Just watching, it's hard to see. We'd have to walk up a little bit. But the tyre change just going on beyond us If you can hear a car in the background, that is Norbert Herzig just changing the front right tyre that he had a puncture on in here. So 4, 5, 6 cars through the stage, and all is kicking off and got lots of drama. Callum Devine, Brian Hoy next to us, currently in 5th place overall as they come into the stage. So we await some news from them. Let's just check the phone, see if there's any information coming in. All sorts of information coming now. Okay, we're not sure where Callum Devine is. We have Hedek is on the road, but they're not sure. They can't. Devine is missing, overtaken by Haddock. Devine is missing. So, oh man, Callum Devine, 5th place coming in, but he is not in order. So maybe he's had to stop and change a flat tyre, because we've seen other people having those issues. So we'll wait and see. But Andras should be next. He was the winner of this rally last year. Ford Fiesta R5 Mark II, the new version of the Ford Fiesta. Here he is in. Dirt all over the place. Light pod on as well, because the final stage of the loop will be done in the dark. He electing to carry the light pod on the car rather than carrying the light pod in the car. So some brand new tyres on there for him. And we'll get a quick word. Okay, Andras, how was the stage?
Everything is okay, but the stage is very slippery. Every corner in the mud.
Okay, we're going to disappear because behind him already is Callum Devine. Callum, lamp pod on, all lamp pod is still there, and there's a soft tyre on there. Devine has got a, well, I don't know whether that's the issue, but Callum Devine in this corner, has he got another, trying to see what else, but this tyre is off the rim here, but I'm not saying that that is definitely what the issue is. We better get a quick word because the lady is doing his time card down there, so let's just get a quick word with Callum. Trying to see. Callum, I just looked at your front right, that's off the rim, but why are you so late?
I'm just after changing a puncture on the stage. That's another puncture. Right, okay, 2 punctures.
Okay, so whereabouts in the stage did you stop and change the first one?
Probably comes out onto the square right junction where all the logs then starts moving. Got it in there in one of them cuts, and we had to just back up the road. It was the safest place to get a change, but yeah, another puncture, good job.
How many spares?
2, thankfully.
Okay, so a 1 stop and change for Callum Devine in the stage, and then a front right now off the rim as Friese's Touran turns up. I'm not sure whether that tyre, it might survive as a spare, but I'm not sure if I'm honest. Let's just see. I'll give you some times when we've got a bit more control over what's going on. Friese's, I know he's taking. Friese's, what was it like in there for you? Let him take his crash helmet off. It's a 12:05. Second quickest time through. That's good.
Yeah. We are very happy. We think it was a good mix between a big danger and the safe. So I think we were very precise, and yeah, the time is really good.
Time is really good. Some words in Hungarian?
Nagyon örülünk, hogy ilyen jó időt tudtunk jönni, második időt jöttünk abszolútban. Én azt gondolom, hogy jó mixet találtunk a nagyon nagy rizikóvállalás és a pontos, precíz autózás között, úgyhogy azt gondolom, hogy megköszönjük a csapatnak.
Brilliant, great. What a stage time. 12:05, second quickest through. I get that Callum Devine photograph off to our social media team. You can't really see it very well, but just an update on Callum Devine there. If you're unaware of what was going on, he stopped and changed a tyre in the stage, but then as you saw on those pictures, the front right is off the rim as well. So Callum Devine fortunately has 2 spares. That one that we saw on the car, I think he might get away with that. If he had to use that like in the 3rd stage of the loop, he might get away with that because he wasn't really aware of that. So it could have just been pushed off the rim. Hopefully it's not gone down too much, but that could be like a spare. Get him home, so to speak. But not ideal, that is for sure. Just move my stone for when the next car comes back into sight. So let's see where we're at. Oh, stage times wise. Right, where do we get? Hedek is a 12:21.9. Then Devine was a 14:45.6. So Devine did a 45.6 and Herzig did a 33.8, and Devine stopped to change. So that was not a bad choice there, to be fair. Remember we were talking about Vinez, who stopped to change. He dropped a minute more, 45 seconds more than the others who didn't stop. And then the last time through, Frigyes Turan, a 12:05.9 on the board, second quickest through. That'll leapfrog him quite a way up the order with everything that's going on in here. Obviously, we didn't have Tibor Jr. He went missing in stage number 4. We run down our list. Next should be Robert Butara. He could hopefully should be next. Then we go down to Paul Lovas, and then it's Paulo Nobre, Albert von Thurn, Untaxis, all those drivers in the stage currently, and hopefully we're seeing those images from our cameras. Let's just check any news which is coming through on there. Butara is missing in the stage. Next up is Lovas. He is the next one to us. So he's they don't know. He's obviously gone missing as Butara before our helicopter and cameras are picking that up. So we might get some information. We might not get some information on what has happened to him. They're falling like flies though, aren't they? Lots of stories, lots of dramas as we wait. I'm sure I can hear a car in the distance coming towards us. It's a little bit like a lucky grab bag, isn't it? Who's going to come next? As it is a Skoda Fabia. Yellow headlights. They'll be handy in the fog. He knows something about what might be coming tomorrow as well. Because the bad weather is destined to come back from what we're hearing tomorrow. I've got dirty finger now. But car number 12 is in. We're getting ourselves sorted. The Skoda Fabia is in. Bali, what was it like in there?
Élvezzük, nagyon-nagyon jó a gyorsasági. Hát kéne gyorsulni, nem tudjuk, hogy, de nagyon jó, nekünk nagyon tetszik. Élvezzük.
That's good, that's brilliant. He seems happy enough anyway on the intermediate tyres. Remember, if you're only just joining us, Chris Ingram has took a brave, a bold, or a bonkers tyre choice. He has taken 2 slick tyres, 2 intermediate tyres, and 2 wet tyres in the boot. He ran the slick tyres across the front axle. He ran the intermediate tyres across the rear axle. Chris Ingram and Ross Whittock, they have taken a bit of everything to get him through the afternoon passage. Lukanuk was on the what I'd call an intermediate. We have a racing tyre which is near enough a slick tyre. We have then a slightly treaded tyre, and then we have a really heavily treaded tyre. So let's, for simpleness of when we're trying to work it out, we've got a racing tyre, an intermediate, and a wet. Lukanuk and Maris taking the intermediate version, not the full wet, but not the racing slick. But Ingram, he's taken a bit of everything, and right now it's a storming stage time, a 12:03.8. The only person to get near him is Frigyes Turan, and he was 2.1 seconds behind. To be fair, I didn't look at what Turan was on. I do apologise for that. Didn't look at what he was on. Thought I heard the helicopter, which kind of maybe told me there was a car coming, but not quite yet. A 12:59.4 was the stage time for car number 12, Lovas, as we wait for potentially Paulo Nobre to arrive, because we are missing a car. Remember, more news coming through. Let's see what... Butara did not start. He didn't start the stage. So, Paulo Nobre turns up. Look at the dirt on the car. I mean, these cars would have been, to a degree, washed in service. And just look at the dirt down here. I mean, that is massive. And what a dirty rim. Massively dirty rim there. He's obviously been wide into the dirt somewhere. And he's on what we are calling an intermediate tyre. But, Paolo, just looking at the amount of dirt splattered down the side. Also, you got a really dirty rim on this side. Have you been wide somewhere?
I always say that when we pass second time the special stage is always better. In this case, it was less worst, because it's still really slippery, really difficult, but we could be at least 1 second faster per kilometer, so we came more with some speed, but still, for me, this rally is so difficult, so difficult.
That's great, that's great. Yeah, less worse. Now, Albert von Thurnen Taxis is turning up. He's got some headlamp warmers on, look, to protect his spot lamps on the front. He's got some covers in case he catches a car in front. They're just going to protect it, but it looks like they're keeping them warm as well. But Albert in at the end of the stage, and already in behind him is Habai. Habai's on a flyer here. We get a quick word. Albert, what was it like through there?
Better. Conditions are worse, but I'm getting some confidence now with these conditions. We have different tires now, so there's a lot of things are changing. It's not easy. It's really difficult. Let's see how it becomes if it gets dark now.
Yeah, it will get dark. Not if it becomes dark, it will get dark. Habai has had a stormer. Habai's gone car 7? 13, yeah. 13.00. Habai, I mean, he's taken near enough 2 minutes out of Albert. What has Habai done in here? I think this could be right up there with Ingram. He was already in sight before we started talking. It's a 12.28. I thought it was going to be better than that, just with the arriving early. Lucas, second pass through. Anything to learn from in there?
It's extremely difficult, you know. It's so slippery. Very tricky conditions, so we took it really carefully. But I was trying to be a little bit quicker. You know, the car is working, setup is fine, tires perfect. So just me, you know, we are having a difficult weekend, but the stage no problems. But it's just very difficult.
It is very difficult. It's a 12.28.9 for Habai and Treminsky. They're on the intermediate. Well, that's a wet tyre for a Pirelli. Pirelli kind of have like a racing tyre and a wet. Michelin do have a bit of a spread through their tyre choices. But a 12.28.9 is the stage time on the board for car number 2. 13.005 for Prince Albert. And then car 14, Paolo Nombre, 13.13.2. But the dirt down the side of that Skoda was so thick down the side of it. Got dirty fingers from opening the door handles because the muds get stuck into the door handles. Next to us, hopefully, barring any issues and dramas, should be Darius Polonsky. Remember, he's second in ERC2, checking the phone for any more updates and news that might be coming in. No, just an update that Britora is in the service park. He never made it out of service, so that is disappointing for him as we wait for Polonsky. Remember, a Nuchita, who Polonsky's in a championship fight with in the Abarth Rally Cup. 8 points between them in the favour of Nuchita, but he stopped this morning. But I think this could be Polonsky coming. He had a puncture in here this morning. He is through. Now, he's been off. Look at the front sump guard. Look how smashed up that is. Polonsky has been off and hit something very, very hard in the front end. So it's very, very kind of like up at the front. So we'll get a quick word with Darius. Lots of smoke coming out of the front end. Darius, what happened? It looks like the sump guard is very, very bent.
We touch the fence very light, so I don't know what happened. You look bad?
Well, no, it just looks more dramatic than normal.
Okay. Anyway, it's still slippery, and we're pushing a little bit for fun, so it happens.
Okay, he touched the fence lightly. I mean, that front, I've not noticed the sump guard sticking up like that normally. You know, it doesn't normally stick up like that. 14.058. 14.058. But glowing exhaust as well as he disappeared. But his lights, his lower lamp pods were kind of not in the place where Abarth definitely designed them to be either. So he touched the fence lightly. I got a feeling lightly might be just a bit harder than what he makes out, to be totally honest with you. But anyway, that is the way it is, and we're not going to worry too much about it. As the Eva, oh my word, that's a proper puncture. That's a wide track Mitsubishi. Look at that. That's cool. I'm going to try and get a photograph of that. Let's see if we can get a photograph of that as we Matthias, what happened in there?
Sorry. No problem.
Okay, I think there's a bit more of an issue that he's letting on, obviously, as They're coming in thick and fast. Marion Griebel is in already. I got a photograph of that tyre. We will... thought Marion was going to rev up and go past. Now, Marion's tyres might just help him in here. Let's see as Marion gets there, just moving everything around. Marion, obviously, the tyre situation might just be a little bit okay in here, or better at least.
Better than in the morning, yeah, that's true. But on this stage it's the most muddy, so it's still a disadvantage, I think. But it's okay. The car was working fine now, and we just come through.
That's it, we just come through. Okay, it's a 13.36.5. 13.36.5 for Marianne Griebel. Behind us is Eric Seis and Jędrzejka Zarkova. They're leading the category. We're waiting for their time to go on the board. Remember, this crew had a new gearbox first thing this morning. Now, they've taken the wet tyre again. They took that this morning, they've taken it this afternoon. And we'll get a quick word with the pair of them. Eric, there's a huge smile on your face, but to be fair, even when you've had a bad stage, there's a smile on your face. But what did you think of this one?
I'm smiling about you because you are so that you're in Australia. No, just kidding. This is wild, man. It's really fun, but also really difficult to not felt down somewhere. But I really like these conditions, and I hope for rain tomorrow.
I don't want any rain tomorrow because I've got my shorts on.
Yeah, but to me, no, I have a roof.
Yeah, you're lucky you got a roof. But what a stage time. 13.12.4. Wow, amazing stage time. But do the tyres of Griebel, do they come back to Griebel in the next couple of stages? Because he said this is the dirtiest one. Do the tyres of Griebel, those slick racing tyres, do they come back into him and into his favour so he can take time? Because 36 to a 12, that's quite a big difference. That Seis has just extended that lead there. But he has the what we'd call the wet tyre, whereas Marianne Griebel has the racing tyre. And Griebel's hoping in the next couple that'll be okay. The problem comes is tomorrow it is meant to rain a lot. I know Eric was having a bit of a giggle about me in shorts, but tomorrow is meant to rain a lot. Those wet tyres tomorrow will come in massively, and we know that Griebel hasn't got any. So that will be a big pendulum swing again in the favour of the young Czech pairing as they come through. Waiting for some more ERC3 cars. Ekaterina Stratieva followed by Nabila Tejpal. 15 seconds between the pair of the girls coming in here. And here comes Ekaterina. She is in sight. Everything looks okay as she comes into us. Just checking the phones for any information that is coming through. Ekaterina is here. She's on the wet tyres. Ekaterina, a big fight with you and Nabila. What was it like through there?
We were very slow on this stage. I don't know why, but in the morning was much more better. It was also a lot of, I wanted to say snow, a lot of mud, but that's the way it is. We will see in the future, and I hope to survive till tomorrow, because tomorrow will be a long day.
Tomorrow going to be a long day. Going to be a long wet day tomorrow as well, from what I can gather. A long wet day. 14.28.3. 14.28.3. I'll just get this photograph of the tyre. Nabila is in already as well. Nabila is here. Just looking at her. She's on the same tyres as Ekaterina. So let's fire this photograph off now. As Nabila comes in. 14.51.9. Nabila, second pass through here. What was it like for you?
Really, really tricky. I struggled in the woods a lot.
Slippy conditions?
Yeah, very slippy conditions. Yeah.
Okay, confidence just maybe just a little bit down for Nabila at the moment, just struggling a little bit as she disappears off. Hugo Magalesh co-driving in that. Where's that oil come from? Where has that oil come from? Which car dropped that oil? Because that's fresh. I don't know which one that is. One of the last two cars, I think, has dropped that oil, and we're not really sure which one. But that is probably more than you would expect out of a car. I'm not sure. Which one?
The abort smoking.
But that looks still quite wet for the Fiat. The Fiat was quite a while ago. Anyway, we've got some oil on the road. I'm going to go and do some investigating between now and stage number 7 that we've got. But this is us wrapped up at the end of stage number 5 on our Facebook Live. Ingram, let's just quickly get some results up. I was going to just disappear off without getting some results. Let's just quickly fire off some results for you, just to give you an update of what is going on. Get my phone out. I've had so much drama, I'm a bit lost off. But looking at Lees, followed by Chris Ingram. Then it is Philip Maris, Friesius Turan, Andras Hedek. Then it is Habai up to 6th. Wow. And then Sean Johnson 7th. Herzig dropped down to 8th with his puncture. Vinez dropped down with his puncture. Callum Devine dropped 5 places with his puncture in there. So the big fight at the front is it's Lukanek from Ingram, 21.3 seconds. Remember, Lukanek on an intermediate set of tyres, but Ingram has got a pair of slicks, a pair of intermediates, and a pair of wets as they head now from stage number 5 to stage number 6. Still 2 more stages to cover. The Facebook Live feed is coming to an end, but you can continue to catch the action on the ERC Rally radio coverage. But now we're going to leave you with Alexei Lukanek through this stage this morning. Join us later on. We are back tomorrow with Facebook Live as well for 3 stages, but the rest of the day continues on ERC Radio. Just watch Lukanek through stage 2 first.
Левый 3 длинный. 20, правый 3. Открывается 40. Левый 1 минус, чуть длинный 50. Правый 1 минус, грязь 80. Левый 2 резать 60, левый 3 плюс острый. На правый 3 минус, поздний, жир. 40. Правый 2 плюс, 40. Еще правый 2 плюс. На левый 1 минус, длинный, с доворотиком. 30, левый 2 минус, еще длинный. 30, правый 2 плюс, не резать 60. Левый 1 минус, 60. Левый 2 минус, еще длинный. 30, левый 2, на правый 6, узко. На левый 4 минус, на правый 6. На левый 2. 70, левый 5 плюс, поздний блок. 50. Правый 2 плюс. 50, правый 7. 50. Левый 2 плюс, 70. Левый 2 минус, поздний. Тира 1 длинный. 150 змейка, не прижиматься. Левый 4 плюс, блок. 20, правый 4. Чуть длинный блок. 40. Левый 2 блок. 60. Правый 2 минус, блок. 20. Левый 5 с доворотом узко. 30. Левый 3 минус, грязь. 30. Левый 3 плюс. На правый 2. 30. Правый 4. Острый блок. На левый 4. 20. Правый 4. Опасный блок. На левый 4. 20. Левый 2. На правый 6. Острый, скользко. 40. Правый 2 налево 1, 80, левый 4 минус. Длинный, скользко. 30, правый 4 плюс. На левый 3 минус, грязь. 30, левый 2 минус. На правый 1 длинный, 120. Левый 2 плюс, на правый 2, 20, левый 5 минус. 60 от 2 плюса. 100 змейка. Правый 4 плюс, узко, блок. 100. Левый 2 плюс, доворотом, правый 2 плюс, тире 2. 100 прямо. Правый 1 минус, двойной, 40. Правый 2 минус. 30, левый 2, тире 1 длинный. На правый 0, 40. Правый 1, 40, правый 2 поздний, цеплять 40. Правый 1, 50. Правый 1 минус, 40, левый 1 минус поздний. 30, правый 4 блок. На левый 5. 40, правый 2. 80. Правый 2 плюс, еще длинный, 60. Правый 2 острый блок. 30, левый 1 длиной, 50, на правый 1-4. 30. Левый 1 минус, 30, правый 3 острый. 30, левый 3 узко, 20, левый 8. Грязь. На правый 2, 50 прямо. Правый 1, левый 2 резать. 50, левый 2 минус. На правый 1, 4, очень длинный. 20, левый 5, острый блок. На правый 3. 30, правый 2 плюс, 120 прямо. Правый 2 плюс, на левый 2 плюс. 30, левый 3 минус, грязь. Левый 3 плюс, жир. 100. Правый 2 плюс, 50. Правый 2, 100. Правый 1, 40, левый 3. Открывается очень длинный, тире 2, скользко. На правый 2 минус, выход узко. 60, левый 2, жир. На правый 3. 30, левый 3 минус. На правый 2 двойной. 80. Правый 1 минус, 40, правый 2 минус. 30, левый 2 плюс через подброс, очень длинный. 50, скользко, правый 5 блок. 50. Левый 2, 40. Правый 2 резать, на левый 3 минус блок. На правый 1 длинный, тире 2 плюс, чуть длинный. 60, левый 2 минус. 300 прямо. Левый 0, 70, правый 2. 50, правый 2 минус. В левый 2 открывается 300. Третий столб 70, правый 2 минус блок. 120. Левый 1, 130. Правый 2 плюс, резать длинный. 150. Левый 1 на правый 3. 30, левый 2 минус, острый блок, аккуратно. 100 прямо. Левый 2 поздний блок, аккуратно. 50. Правый 2 плюс, 30, левый 2 плюс, еще длинный блок. На правый 2 плюс, 80. Левый 2 тонко, на правый 2 плюс, 80. Правый 1 минус, 100. Левый 2 плюс, еще длинный, аккуратно, 60. Правый 2 на левый 3 минус, острый блок. 40, левый 4 минус, острый. На правый 2, в левый 2. 50, правый 2 минус, 40, прямо правый 4, земля. 30, левый 2 плюс, длинный, с доворотом на жире. 50, левый 1 минус, 120. Левый 1 минус, тире 2, 150. Правый 1 на левый 1 минус, ХД, скользко. 120. Левый 2 плюс, чуть длинный, с доворотом через трамплин. 80, скользко на торможении. Левый 2 минус, чуть длинный. 50, левый 2 минус, резать говны после выхода. 150. Правый 1, 40. Правый 1 минус, жир, 40, правый 5, длинный. Опасно. Правый 2 резать, на левый 3 за трамплин. 20, правый 3 минус. На левый 2 минус, дырка. 80, трамплин. 30 вниз, левый 3 плюс, резать. На правый 1-2, резать 20, скользко, левый 3 минус. 60, скользко на торможении, правый 3 минус, грязь. 30, левый 3 минус. Тире 1, 30, левый 3 плюс. 50. Правый 2 минус, еще длинный, на левый 2 резать. 60. Левый 2-2 минус, на правый 3 минус, поздний. 2-2 минус, на правый 3 минус, поздний. На левый 2 плюс, за мост. 60. Правый 6, блок. 30. Правый 2, 150. Правый 2 плюс, поздний, 50. Левый 5, острый, блок. 180. Левый 0, направо 1 за трамплин 70. Правый 0 через длинный трамплин 30, левый 3 длинный, резать аккуратно грязь. На правый 4 плюс, резать грязь. 130. Левый 4 плюс, острый. 70. Левый 3. 30, право 4 минус, поздний. На мост. На левый 3. 30, левый 2 минус, резать грязь. На правый 2 минус, резать грязь. 300. Левый 1, 300. Левый 0, 250. Левый 1, 150, ретардер. Левый 2. 60, левый 3 резать. Будет грязь. 50, правый 2. 150. Правый 3. Через длинно резать жир. 50, правый 2 плюс, 150. Левый 1 минус 100. Левый 2 плюс, чуть длинный, 120. Правый 1 минус, 300. Трамплин 90, ретардер справа. 20, левый 2 минус 80, правый 3 плюс, сильно резать. На финиш 80. Левый 3 поздний, на правый 4 длинный. Оп. Молодец.